I left home at 12 and a half, was introduced to a biker, realized that it was kind of like a trap, and I wasn't welcome to leave. So we went stripping and dancing in clubs in North Carolina, South Carolina, Atlanta, Georgia, and ended up in Florida. We danced during the day, and then we had appointments at night.
I was groomed. I was groomed as a young child due to the fact that my mother was also in the.
Wow, everything was really well done as far as the structure. I liked having the different sort of chapters of the story pop up on the screen and knowing what we're, getting into is the next phase of, their experience and their healing and surviving. Um, Honestly, I think a lot of these women come out with leadership skills because they're so used to having to survive on their own and find ways to do that. And, the Thistle and Bee makes me want to buy products from their company. There's just so much content in this that was great. Very enlightening as far as the statistics. They were astonishing, actually. And I love that this describes it as not just being abducted. Like a lot of people think, these girls are just getting abducted and sold into sex trafficking, but they're not. They're groomed and mentally, abused and coerced. And I think, I like that you guys, are hitting, that point very well. And I like the one woman who said, my outlook is different, but I'll never forget, because I think we think people go through things and they should just forget about them, but that's not the case. So kudos to all of you for being so strong and being able to give back afterwards as well.
We hear about sex trafficking a lot. There are some people who, if you read social media, don't believe it exists. There's other people who are well aware it's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and when it's gone, to hear it from the victims' voices themselves rather than just experts who help rescue, it's very, very powerful. Because these are people who have experienced it. They know firsthand. They're the ones that we should listen to, not people who've studied it from a book. They know more about what the tricks are, the grooming, how people groom, and how you get into it. They're the ones to listen to because they're the only ones that can put an end to this. This documentary, the filmmaker, just to go and interview survivors is a very brave person. It's a because they probably put themselves into danger by doing that when pimps find out and the traffickers find out. But it's still a remarkable, brave act because these women survived something horrific. And hearing from them, maybe people could figure out what the signs are to look for in their community and figure out more how to start rescuing people. And like one woman said, they kind of have to want to rescue themselves. But this a documentary like this, a film like this, is a start to doing and starting a powerful movement to beginning to end a horrific crime.
Really intense and really, really powerful. Um, I think that it did a lot of really, really great things. I think it really made a point to educate and to shed perspective on something that I think gets skewed a lot in media and just in perception in general. I think that when people think of trafficking, I think that a lot of people underestimate how big of an issue it is globally, but especially in like America, for example, which is where, all of the data and everything was being based off of. And how much of it is domestic and it's not, you know, the kind of circumstances that I think it gets framed as in the media and in entertainment, like in movies and, TV and things like that. And that, you know, what it actually looks like, how people get into the life. how they get out of it, how long that process takes. I think that this film did such a great job in educating, in shedding perspective. I think that it's the type of conversations, it's the type of education, it's the type of content that needs to be shared about sex trafficking and about the sex industry, because there's a lot of misrepresentation, there's a lot of just assumed knowledge about how things operate. That's simply not true. And the more information you have out, the more people will, understand and maybe want to help. And, the more you know about something, the less shame there is going to be, the less stigma there's going to be, the more education, the more knowledge that's out there, that's accessible, I think the better the situation will be.
The title and the sections of this documentary is very sensible. I really like the progression of how you come from the loneliness, people effectively trapped in their life, and their life and how they got there, who got them there, the different risk factors, someone close to them. It is just appalling. And I love to see the organizations that are putting support systems in place. So these people that get lured, manipulated, abused, coerced, and blatantly just forced into this with the invisible gun, the concept that was explained there too. It's just very heartbreaking, how also very inspiring to see how they managed to escape. And I love the flow of the situation and this range of emotions and the things that happen, the different people that they encounter in their journey to freedom, and reminding them of their worth and how to live their life after this nightmare. I love to learn as well about the safe harbor rules, and this is the one positive outcome from this experiences. And this music is just amazing. The lyrics are very heartwarming, and I enjoyed it a lot. It's a lot of learning.
I loved how the documentary touches on the subjects of sexual slavery and being trapped in that sort of world for so long that some find it really hard to escape from. I loved how the story deals with these subject matters, and instead of being embarrassed by what's happened, instead they accepted and embraced their past, and rather looking forward to what can come in their future, which was a brilliant way of showing these various women who have gone through these stages in their life.
The interviews of all the women were incredibly candid, touching, and intimate, and the editing of these interviews was well done, moving from titles to people so smoothly. The gentle soundtrack below the interviews really suited the heartfelt message of the film. These people wanted to be free to get out of the life, and they needed help to heal and also to safely integrate back into society.